All right, welcome back to the Surrey Report. It is November. Before we begin, all this cool stuff behind us is up for silent auction. This year we could not do our event Battle for the Bank. However, we are holding a silent auction on 32auctions.com. So check out this link here and you can bid on this stuff between the 16th and 21st of November. And all money raised goes to the Surrey Food Bank. This month, we're going to be talking about everybody's, or at least buyer's, favorite subject, the subject to sale. It's a subject about a subject. It's great. I love it. But first, as normal, here are the stats.
Surrey combined condos for the month of October had a benchmark price of $400,700. This is down 0.3% month over month, while still being up 3.7% year over year.
And for October, our detached homes came in at $1,142,400 with a 1.3% month-over-month increase and a whopping increase year-over-year of 8.5%.
Moving into our townhouse market, the Surrey combined benchmark price is $592,300. That's up 0.1% month over month and 5.2% over the same time last year.
All right, if you like this content, just click and subscribe on YouTube and you will not miss any of our amazing videos like this. And the amazing Chandani, who's going to ask questions and we're going to go back and forth about subject to sale.
Yes, very important topic. Buyers love them. So first thing, what is a subject to sale?
A subject to sale is a condition written in the purchase agreement that says, basically, I will buy your home, but you have to wait for me to sell my home. So the contract is conditional upon the buyer also selling their home.
Okay, so how does it work?
Well, it is a condition. Generally speaking, conditions will get waived, let's call it 5 to 10 days in our marketplace. Generally speaking, a subject to sale will go longer. So you may still remove your financing condition in 7 days, but you may get as much as 30 days to actually sell your property.
Okay, so the buyer, okay. And is there a time clause?
Yeah, so that was a setup question if there ever was one. So the part I didn't explain yet is, so you will have a condition to sell your property. However, the seller is going to protect them as well.
Yeah.
And they're going to put in a time clause, 72, 48, 24 hours. Of which they can accept another offer and give you the boot. So even though you get a subject to sale accepted, you still stand the possibility of losing your dream home.
Yeah, because a seller doesn't want to tie up their property by a buyer that hasn't sold their home yet. So it's an out for a seller, essentially, the time clause.
Absolutely. It's an out for the seller. It's a condition also for the seller to accept another offer.
Yeah. Why do buyers want a subject to sale?
Buyers want a subject to sale, though what we hear, what they say to us is, I'm not moving unless I find the perfect house. Generally, when you kind of peel back the layers and you find out exactly what the reality of the situation is, it usually comes from a place of fear.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know what the house is going to be. I'm not going to move unless I have everything line up perfectly for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes it's also based on their motivation or stage in life.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're committed to a regular process, you're going to probably sell and then buy after, like most people do.
Yeah.
Condition of sale is basically saying I'm not doing anything until I have the next place lined up.
Okay. What do sellers think about this subject to sale? Now, say you're a buyer, you're writing an offer on my property that's been listed. What's the sellers thinking?
So it's funny. Every buyer wants to write a subject to sale. No seller wants to accept a subject to sale because you now have to wait for the other guy to sell their property.
Yeah.
So it is super sometimes comical for us. We'll meet with a client and they'll want to write a subject to sale offer. And then when it comes to selling their property and a buyer brings them a subject to sale offer, they don't want to accept it.
Yeah.
So it is a condition that is a lot harder to fulfill because now you have more dominoes to stack up in order to make all of them fall.
Yeah, okay. So what do agents think about it? So say, what's a seller's agent thinking?
I'm going to get in trouble here. So it is very mixed reaction to subject to sale, as Chandani knows. I have had agents say to me, when I'm bringing them a subject to sale offer, don't bring me an offer with a condition to sale. When you have money to spend, come back to the table. Now, personally, I think that is extremely short-sighted because an offer is still an offer. You may have that condition to sale, and as receiving subject to sale offers on our team, we actually view them as a benefit. If you're in multiple offers and one or two of them is subject to sale, great, we're just going to bid the price up for the guy that doesn't have something to sell. But if I have trouble selling a property and we accept a subject to sale offer, I am now showing to the next buyer that another buyer has found value in this property. Does that make sense? So basically I accept them, or I'll get my clients, encourage my clients to accept a subject to sale offer, not to sell necessarily to that buyer, but very possibly to the next buyer.
Yeah, because when the next buyer's agent is messaging us, say, hey, is this property available? It's like, we have an accepted offer, but it has a 72-hour clause or a 24-hour clause. So you can bump that buyer if your buyer likes it.
Yes.
And I think also human psychology is, oh, someone else found value in it. Maybe there is some value. Maybe we should go take a look at it.
Yeah, so when we're working with a buyer and we find a property that has a subject to sale offer on, a lot of the buyer's psychology is, oh, somebody else found value there. Now it's okay for me to offer on that property.
Yeah. So, but what does a buyer's agent think about it when the buyer comes to the agent and says, I want to write a subject to sale offer? What's the buyer's agent's thought?
So a lot of the time you will get kind of a negative response from agents if you want to write a subject to sale offer. And this is where I'm going to get in trouble. I think it's actually because it's a lot more work. And people don't like to do more work than they need to do. It is harder to get you moved through a subject to sale offer. So therefore, and here's the other side of it. You may actually get your subject to sale offer accepted. And then if that time clause gets invoked, your client will lose the house of their dreams, or very potentially lose the house of their, the house of their dreams. So they're devastated and now unmotivated. So it is, it's not fun from an agent's point of view. It's really not. But it is possible, and it is absolutely doable to do. It's just a lot more work from both agents in the transaction's point of view, and a lot more work from the buyer's point of view, because they do need to have their house ready for sale. Yeah.
And sometimes there's costs that come out. You're doing inspections prior to even knowing if your house is sold, right? Sometimes appraisals. So there is a cost to it. How can a subject to sale be successful, though?
How can it be successful? So generally speaking, I will find that if you're writing a subject to sale offer, often you will actually have to pay a little bit more than market. So you're actually paying for that seller to hold that property. So offering on properties that are overpriced is actually a lot of the time where you will actually be successful in that. A time that it's not successful is in a very, very hot market. If you're competing, your subject to sale offer is likely just going to get tossed out. So it's not very successful at that point.
Well, not necessarily tossed out. It's going to help the seller sell for more money.
It's going to help the seller sell for more, and you're going to likely not get the consideration that the other offers will get.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
What else we got, Chandani?
Well, that was my last question. Any other pros or cons you can think?
No, I do think that there is value. We usually do, let's call it 2 to 3 subject to sale deals every single year. Yeah. I know agents that have been in the business for 5 or 6 years that have never done one. Yeah. It is an option. It is a very hard option, and there's a lot of work that needs to be. The one thing we didn't really touch on, which I think we absolutely should, is if you're going to write a subject to sale offer, you need to be on the market with your property the very next day, like 1 day, 2 days down the road. So if you're going to do a subject to sale, often you have to be prepped, maybe even be on an exclusive listing, have all your marketing in place, and then hit the market the day after.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, if you guys have any other questions, we're always here to help.
Chandani's super smart. Reach out to her. Me, well, what are you going to do? You get what you get. All right, thanks so much for joining us this month. And remember, click and subscribe down below, and we'll see you next month.
Bye for now.
Don't forget about our silent auction taking place on 32auctions.com, benefiting the Surrey Food Bank. It runs from November 16th through the 21st. As we said, all money raised goes directly to the food bank. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next month on the Surrey Report.